Is this supposed to be like Steam, or are these supposed to be like Souls? What do you think, chat? Is this Steam or is this Souls? That Charon's like pooping everywhere. Rampant dysentery. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's that time. It's Sunday night. We're going to get our weekly rollover as we get closer and closer to the end of this season, but we also have a ton of game reviews to do tonight. A whole lot of them. That's pretty much going to be the entire stream as game reviews. I'm not going to lie. Part of it is because I am super tired. I didn't stream yesterday because I had some real life stuff to take care of, and as a result, I am exhausted, so it kind of worked out. Maybe there was a little planning involved, trying to organize offline things and streaming things and all that fun stuff. But we are, in fact, going to be running through a bunch of game reviews. We need to get through, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we did 4. I thought we only did 3 the other night. So we're actually farther ahead than I thought we were going to be. But I also added some new stuff. If you're watching the stream live as compared to on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, come on the live stream, RTChompGG over on Twitch. The link for the stream and the Discord and all that fun stuff are in the description of this video, like usual. But I added a new command. I don't know how long this one's going to last, because I thought it was kind of interesting, like just having a pseudo question of the day, because we've had a lot of stuff come up before. You know, we were even talking about it on the last stream about whether snowball is a problem. Some of these more, you know, esoteric strategic discussions I think are interesting, but this one's more for funsies. We can compare who's more tired. I got third in a 12-hour mountain bike race yesterday. My everything is sore tired. I could see that being the case. I guess Grat's on the third place. I don't know why you would do anything for 12 hours. There are very, very few things that require physical exertion that I would want to do for 12 hours. That list is exceptionally short. We do have another... Pretty sure Rodizio's on the subscriber list, so we're going to do their game, take a peek at that, and then we'll cycle back in. We'll start it off with a Rodizio game. We have done a number of Rodizio highlights as of late, and some game reviews, so we'll see what they have on deck for us. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future, so look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. Alright, so our hero here is Rodizio in the blue trunk, zoning into Vile Vortex number 11, which recently rotated out, and I was pretty sad to see it go. But the notes here are baby snaky, more like sneaky snaky. Interesting. Alright, we'll see what we have in store here. So, I should have double-checked the stress levels when we zoned into the game, but I don't remember where Rodizio's at. Based on both their opener and the bad guy's opener, I have to assume that neither player is high enough stress level in order to have access to Snowball, because this is kind of what prompted the Snowball discussion from the other day, and not to rehash the whole thing, you can check out the other stream highlights and the other stuff here on the YouTube channel, but the idea is, with a given phobia being so ubiquitous, such as Snowball, is that a problem? And basically on this map, like pretty much everybody starts off with Snowball plus something, and then the other player does Snowball plus other things. Now, that's very common on other maps as well, but obviously here it doesn't look like the players have access to it. I got asked at the end, did you get third? And I was like, I have no idea. This was like 60 seconds after I'd sprinted up a hill to finish my last lap, with 6 minutes left before the lap wouldn't count. Good God. Why did... Was it another competitor that asked you, or was it like a bystander? Because if it's a bystander, that's absolutely absurd. It's like, wouldn't you know because you've been here waiting? That's kind of funny, Doc. So we're getting the build-up of forces here. Panic point advantages going to our hero. I like the lobs. I like the murder wing. I like the 1-drops. Probably could do with one less from our hero. I'm not a huge fan of the stabby. I kind of get it, but given the way that the lobbing works on this map most of the time, the yoink is not necessarily going to pull you into, or pull them, that is, into a position where you can leverage it. Now, the damage is not insignificant, but there's a healing spot. It's just a slow-moving phobie that's limited on its attack paths. I'm not a huge fan, but Bad Guy makes an interesting play here by breaking this block with Crushmore. I feel like I haven't seen that before, or maybe I've seen it once. Now, our hero does something similar, but breaking this bottom block to me makes a lot more sense. You get this straight run with 1 keys, and obviously you're going to be hemorrhaging some of them as time goes on. And also, with just the Gravedigger allows you to bank to 7, there's a lot of big nasties that can come out. Someone else that must have finished earlier than I had. Gotcha, gotcha. I mean, if it's a competitor, they may not realize, but if it was a bystander, an observer, just like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? So Bad Guy is banked to 9. They did pop out some of their own 1 keys, but 4-to-1 panic point advantage means that there's a bunch of damage going down onto Bad Guy here. You're watching me on your Nintendo DS. Is there a browser on the DS? Like an internet browser? I don't think I have a DS or ever... I think I might have? Maybe? I'm not big on handheld, so I don't know if, like... one of the newer iterations. Okay. Because I was trying to, in my head, think of when the DS came out, and I'm like, that would have been before Nintendo really put any effort into internet stuff. So we get an attractor in the meantime. I know we're talking about all kinds of random stuff. This is going to be a weird stream. We're going to intermix a bunch of stuff into this. So, Bad Guy had gotten a panic point advantage ever so briefly. Clearly not long for the world for that scenario. But the attractor here represents a whole lot of bad. There's a lot of bad things. There is an internet browser on the 3DS. Interesting. I wonder if that's still supported. Like, do they still push, say, security patches for it? That would be interesting. I have to imagine they don't, and they're just like, hey, just... like, don't do your banking on the 3DS. That seems like a bad idea in general, but, you know. So, the bad guy's banking to 12? Like, what is happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could put a phobia on the board, but they're instead banking to 12. This is really bizarre. Rodizio is now, once again, at a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. They have the line set up. The attractor means that there could be an invade due to the yoink. But, yeah, I assume we're getting a yoink here, right? Yep. So it does pull stuff into range. Like, the stabby could hypothetically die. I have to imagine it's going to die, or why would you have done this? But there isn't quite enough damage. Like, this yoink isn't great, is where I'm going with it. Because it's... if they could get the stabby and the murder wing, maybe. But, like, this doesn't seem worth it. Now, that being said, can our hero punish this? Yeah, I think they can kill this. Which, like, I'll trade Stabby and Murder Wing for Attractor. I think that's worth it. Mine works, I'm pretty sure people look up whatever. I mean, yeah, that's probably true, Silver. That would not surprise me in the least. Hey, Crazy, any new meta? Well, when did you play last, Crazy? Like, did you play after full disclosure? Yep, so we see the takedown here. We see the takedown here. Boomer's sliding up, 4-to-1 panic point advantage. Like, our hero is at 17 keys. Now, granted, bad guys spent some of their enormous key bank investing here into Pterodactyl, but, like... Gotcha, Crazy. I mean, it depends on the map. I think people are evolving strategies on different maps. Like, this map is now out of rotation, but this was a fun map. And definitely introduced some more unique stuff. We can look at the map pool after this, maybe. Take a peek. Because I think people are trying new things, like new wrinkles. as I would put it. For example, like DT has been championing, and I'm starting to really like it, Gravedigger on, say, Eternal Monday. And I think that fits really well. Alright, this turn looked really bad for Rodizio. I mean, I don't mind Erratic on this map. I don't mind Erratic on this map, but this is tough. Like, obviously the Noxious makes it even worse, but yes, you get clusters on this map, that's why I don't mind the Erratic, but the challenge here is that you need to get this into a position where it's going to do something valuable and not make you hate yourself because of the Noxious. Now, that being said, Bad Guy's heart is at 28-20. And I have to imagine the way, based on the notes, the way this game is going to end is Baby Snakey's going to take this bottom point and close the game out. So Trap goes down. We do eliminate the Crushmore. Minimal losses, we'll say. This is not great, but I guess not terrible. So I anticipate Bad Guy's going to charge in with Noxious and try and spit on this. Gravedigger obviously goes down. Panic point advantage orange, yes, because of the unicorn in the top. I guess they second-guess this. This is a little weird. I don't know, but, like, if you're not going to take this, because you clearly want the Noxious for the Erratic, you're not going to get a better Vomit. Alright, so here's the Baby Snakey. Let's see what happens. Now, I get not wanting to put the poison on the Quagmire. The Gin Sting could obviously just swap out with the Erratic. It wouldn't have gotten a ton of value, but, like, the whole goal is to hit the Erratic, I think. Betting you're going to see a lot of this map tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to be going through a lot of game reviews tonight, chat. I got to make sure that we hit our quota. Plus, I'm just super tired. I'm super tired, so taking it a little easy. I think Sundays are going to become the game breakdown day. It's going to be a little bit weird on season rollovers because I do the pack opening videos, but, you know. That way I can group them all. There's a number of benefits for it, but we'll see. Is mine on the list? Maybe crazy. Did you submit one? If you're just getting back in, did you already have something cool? Alright, so Quagmire's sliding up north. I think we're just getting pickoffs here. Rodizio was in a really strong position, but at this point, they kind of just need to hold a panic point advantage. I don't think there's a solid way for them to fight through all the Phobies in a reasonable fashion. I'm still confused as to what this Noxious is doing now. Okay, crazy. On the spreadsheet, there's a tab for the ones I've done. It was a week or two ago. I can take a look after this game. Alright, so we do get the Noxious going in. It is going to vomit, but not on what you'd expect. I mean, it's enough. It assists in the damage, so that means that the Quagmire goes down, which is a big deal. Because now we're looking at 0 keys to 0 keys. It's Gin Sting, Erratic, Contortio, and Baby Snakey versus this. This is a very threatening setup here. Well, to a degree. To a degree. Because they're all very healthy. Hypothetically, if Bad Guy makes poor positioning, like, or makes a positioning error, they could absolutely hemorrhage, like, everything. See, like, right here, I mean, that wasn't necessarily a positioning error given what they were trying to do, but it's just they had to go for something that they probably didn't want to, necessarily, and they're in a rough spot as a result. The Baby Snakey is appropriately going for the heart. Either it's going to go on the heart or it's going to take this panic point. But Baby Snakey is actually a pretty significant threat. Like, this is a level 9 Baby Snakey. It's doing over 600 damage a clip. That's like Stairmaster levels of damage. It's not insignificant. Bad Guy here has to put in every effort to just try and cling to life as best they can. So they've now achieved a panic point advantage. We're getting the Noxious pulling back. But the Noxious is not enough. The Noxious is not enough. I'm not sure, like, where was the sheep to start the... I don't know why the sheep went here. I guess to go after Erratic? Oh no, the sheep was here to kill the Gin Sting. It still didn't have to be there. It could have been here. Like, just one space closer. I don't know that particularly matters. Whoop. So now it's Erratic and Baby Snakey versus the world. That's basically all you can do. There isn't necessarily enough damage to take down this errata. Like, bad guy can't deal with both. So while all the panic points are orange, we're looking at a 1400 health heart. Erratic getting some splash down. All it really matters is that the erratic is not going to die. Killing the Noxious is actually a big deal because you're not going to necessarily... Like, you're not killing this turn. You're not getting any damage. So you definitely take down the Noxious so that way you can... ensure that your baby Snaky lives. And I think that's where Bad Guy looked at this and says 520, 240, not going to be 866 or greater. So ball game, going to baby Snaky. I love seeing some baby Snaky because it's a phobia that you don't typically see, but it is an actual offensive threat. It is a big deal. You have to respect it. And in this case, it's sinking those fangs, doing a little chomping on the heart. With what I always joked about, where I know it's supposed to be a cobra hood, but to me, it looks like enormous mouse ears. It's just funny. But GG, well played, Rodizio. Well played. So I see your game, Crazy, but it's definitely not the oldest one. The oldest submitted one... I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 before you. We'll probably end up getting to your game tonight anyway. Just because we're going to be doing a bunch of reviews, but... we will see. As far as the maps and new strategies go, so there's a lot of stuff that, like I said, is kind of an evolution of things. So we got, well, Xylo's still in the rotation, but Rush Hour came back. Since the beauty nerf, like Crypto, Blastomatic's shown up, but... scroll down without realizing, no problem. Baby Snaky and Temptress have come to my attention. In what way, True Underdog? Temptress, I wish Temptress was better. I don't really like Temptress, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan. It's just super duper frail. I feel like it could get a buff and it wouldn't be overpowered. But I also need to go back and review, like, putting everything in level 1 and standardizing it, because I'm contextually thinking about it, my Temptress, the one that I have that's at a certain level that is or is not good enough in the games I'm playing. But if it were higher level, obviously it would be better, but would it be, like, what level does it have to be at where it's a reasonable response to, obviously, electrical or mechanical phobies? Those are the ones that you want to drop the electrical ones against, clearly. Temptress comes in handy when they pull out a Hevo or Bro Mangles. Yes, I mean, also threatens Jar. That's fair. Temptress felt good in lower ranks for players overcommit to mechs. The problem I have with Temptress is, as mentioned, the fragility, but also, I want answers. So, Jar is the main thing. Jar is the main thing. I want answers that are on the same level, like key cost wise, or lower. I don't want to have a 4-drop that answers a 3-drop. Now, obviously, that isn't necessarily always going to be the case. Like, a Jin Sting on level is not going to kill a Jar in one shot. I don't know if Inoculus does, but you get the idea. Not everything is going to one-shot something that's lower. So, when you have something like this, maybe that's an acceptable answer, but it clearly drops off very quickly as just a random phobie. So you need it to be really efficient at what it does, and especially on small maps, the gap between a 3-cost and a 4-cost is fairly significant because you have to take that turn banking. You can't just pop it right out. On larger maps, I feel like you're going to have enough other stuff to maybe threaten the Jar. I don't know. So, like, I can appreciate Temptress. It just feels like it has the classic numbers problem. Health-wise, it's not fantastic. Damage output-wise, without electrical, it's verging on non-existent. And that's part of the problem, is I don't know if it even trades up into its alleged counter. So, like, if it's supposed to be good against mechanicals, can it... Great. It annihilates Jars. Sure. We're on the same page there. But can it trade up effectively into a Hevo? I mean, yeah, you're going to scare it, but due to the fragility of this thing, the Hevo could just say, nah, I'm going to tank. Like, I'll be in a forward position, allow you to come in, hit me once with the Temptress, most likely going to live. I'll hit you twice, and then finish it off with something else. And it's like, is that really worth it? It's getting multiple hits on something like that is tough. And then even if it lives, is it worth like useful after that? I don't know. You get the super rare niche situation where you get onto a stim Temptress ability on 2 to 3 Phobies. I've literally never seen that. It sounds awesome, but I've literally never seen it. Ray Chargels has some mech value. I feel like Ray Chargels is better than Temptress because of the mobility. Now, Ray Chargels has a similar problem where it's, made of paper mache, but it at least can represent I don't have to jump through hoops or less hoops for positioning. I'll post a game where I killed Hevo 3.0 in Temptress. All right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't doubt that these things are happening. I'm not saying, well, there's no chance that this ever happened. Like, obviously they happen, right? But the reality of the scenario is, and this goes back to a discussion I had with, it comes up fairly frequently, but DT, we were talking about on stream. I tend to label the super niche or limited Phobies as bad. Because to me, that is kind of what they are. They're just not as good as the other Phobies because even in the super niche scenarios, like depending on, there's obviously a spectrum. If they're way, way niche or, they're way generalist, if they're too far niche, it's like, okay, who cares about those scenarios? But at the same time, there will be games where that's the only Phobie that will answer the problem you're facing down. To me, that's still, in the grand scheme, bad. And I can understand why people don't like that designation because they are not useless. Those are two wildly different things. Two wildly different things. Alright, so we're zoning into another game review, game breakdown. This time our hero is in the orange trunks here on Exponential Decay. There are no notes for this game, but this is going back to the end of August. By the time this goes up on YouTube, it'll probably be October. So this may be back in the rotation by then. That's the funny part with some of these. I mean, I'm sure people don't think it's funny, but, Ray Charles is definitely better, but Temptress isn't trash here. She's just okay, more niche. I mean, yes, but to me, like I said, when I say things are bad, I'm not saying they are thoroughly, completely useless, like, just delete them from the game. They're just bad in the sense that 99.9% of the time, you'd rather go with other stuff. And even in the niche scenario, especially because of the way ladder works with phobia levels and stuff, you may be fine without those other things anyway. Jane Thunder Rocks. Honestly, I've come to respect Thunder Rocks more. Not necessarily more than Temptress, but just in general more. Opinion on Kerbloom. That's the 2-cost one, right? I like Kerbloom because of the pushback, and also the fact that it's not Boom. Like, Boom just dies if you look at it funny. But that still feels super niche, all of them. I know Onda posts daily Boom, Kerbloom, and Kaboom plays, but Onda's like the only person I see making it happen. Oh, speaking of making things happen, we're getting like a somewhat standard build-up on this map, other than our hero elected to not go for the north panic point here with anything. But they just introduced Morty, and it wasn't to snipe something immediately. This is a Morty that's actually going to roam. A level 8 Morty, so it's pushing a fair amount of damage. Yeah, chat's getting excited for that Morty. Get a little Morty action going. And we get a slammer head. So here, what? Our hero here does need to vacate the... Oh no, not like this. Oh no, it's dead, okay. Because they hit the cat earlier. I thought the cat was going to live, and then the cat and Stairmaster killed the Murder Wing for free, but... A Morty not to snipe is so scary. 850 HP and a 5-cost Terrifies. Yeah, I mean, I've played against... Recently, I think it was... Wait, timeout. What? Why? I don't know. But yeah, I played recently against somebody who did use Morty like a regular phobie, and I've done it in a couple games recently as well. Not necessarily, like I sniped something, but then it lived, so it got to do other stuff. I even killed somebody with the Morty on a stim on Xylo. It was funny. But Morty can push a lot of damage. It's a big threat. Charon, because Charon, he's here for your soul. I mean, yeah. He's looking to ferry some souls to the underworld. Not gonna lie, Kerbloom has been my reason for ranking up lately. You'd be surprised how many people don't know how to trade properly with Kerbloom out. I mean, it's one of those things you have to respect it. It's an enormous amount of damage. And I get the sense that a lot of people probably would be inclined to, like, oh, well, I can't get hit by this. I can't let the Kerbloom connect. And not accepting the, like, oh, well, oh, no, chat. Do you see what I see? Some funny things might be about to happen. But finishing up the Kerbloom thought, I could definitely see a lot of people where they're just like, oh, they're panicking. I can't let this connect. But the correct answer might be, well, let it connect with, like, your one key. You know, like, it's okay because you're trading key positive and you're eliminating the thing from the board. Like, it's not that big of a deal. There are some phobies like that that do panic people. Also, I didn't realize that... Is this supposed to be, like, Steam, or are these supposed to be, like, souls? What do you think, chat? Is this Steam or is this souls? That Charon's, like, pooping everywhere. Rampant dysentery. Souls? I mean, they're popping out of the bubbles. But it feels like it's supposed to be souls, right? Mosquito is kind of like that and costs 2, hits pretty hard and connecting with it's good value. I mean, I really like Maggie, but Maggie's tankier. Chat, I knew it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. You gotta love Boop. I mean, realistically, it's Charon, but still. Come on, the slammer head is right here. Boop. Also, notably, bad guy... Ghostbusters slimed their own panic point. So now they're down 3-1. Like... Poor K. I don't know what, like... That had to have been a quest thing, right? And, oh, by the way, Morty. Assassin Morty just rolling up and saying... Just disintegrating the murder wing. Man, this game is just like... This turn was painful. I can feel it in my soul. It's like, alright. You get a hit on Slammerhead. Rats. GG, I mean... Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. 6 keys remaining for bad guy, 10 keys for our hero. Obviously, they're not only going to kill the AWOL, but trivially reclaim this position. I don't know about the Morty here, depending on what they did. Oh my god. Chat! I can't believe this just happened! Oh my god. Our bad guy 100% didn't know that this was gonna happen. They 100% thought this ability had a cooldown. 100% thought this ability had a cooldown. There is no shot that they knew this was how it worked. I refuse to believe. I refuse. A double boop game. This is just... That might be true, Roxbridge. That might be true. Bad guy got a harsh and hard lesson today in the art of the boop. I sometimes think the game doesn't like me when I'm doing Casso lunges, so there's actually news on that front, Crazy. Because I think you've been here before when we've talked about the weird mechanics for boops and yoinks, and I believe that leaps presumably follow a similar bizarre logic. It was confirmed by the devs in the official Discord. We'll talk about, you know what, I'll save that for after the game, because I think people will want to see this and or hear it, and sometimes people miss it. By the time this goes live, people probably won't care, but we're looking at the last turn of the game, so you got like a whole 30 seconds to wait. Man, Slammerhead got value. Also, Morty connected 3 different times this game. Well played, Mike. Well played. Also, shout out to the name, because we always love it when people just have, like, a regular name. You were defeated by Mike. So, I don't have the quote on hand. It was posted in my Discord, or reported in my Discord. And then I went and looked at it in the official Phobies Discord. But basically, somebody asked the question of... I mean, people have asked this question for a while, but... How do boops and yoinks work? Because they don't seem to work consistently and never, like... There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or a reason. I think part of the problem was a lot of people, potentially myself included, because I've had a bunch of different theories, including this, that, like, the boops and yoinks should be working on a similar basis. But apparently, one of them... This is the wrong thing. I think they said yoinks will try and do east-west based on trying to pull it closest to your heart. So if you're above your heart, it'll pull the phobie up. Possibly. Like, it's trying to... Like, the direction that it's trying to pull or push something is in relation to the heart, in one case, for a boop or a yoink, whichever one it is. And then the other one is trying to do it under other circumstances. I think we talked about it before, Roxbridge, on stream, like in one of those like one of the discussions we had. But the devs confirmed that, and they said that the wording on the cards, it wasn't clear in their response whether they're going to change the behavior to match the cards or change the cards to match the behavior. DT saying, boops prioritize horizontal movement, yoinks prioritize movement towards your heart. That's what it was. That's what it was. Thank you. So and that's why, like, to bring in the leaps presumably have a similar logic that we'll see how they want to correct it, because the devs indicated they're going to kind of go into the tank and figure out they're going to do something. We don't know what that something is. Have a game with the last boop from an enemy working that way? Gotcha. Charge abilities use pathfinding to find the closest vacant position adjacent to the target and within range. Vacant positions around the target are searched in the order northwest, northeast, northwest, northeast, west, east, southwest, southeast. This is for charge abilities like Cassos, but it might work for push abilities. Do you know that's for sure for Tute for the charge abilities? I'd have to, like, look at a bunch of them to, you know, prove or disprove it, honestly. But the boops have been confirmed by the devs as how they function. As far as the wording goes, like, yeah, the boop and yoink wording, there's no world in which I think anybody would have said, yeah, the heart is the anchor point. The thought honestly went through my head because I was like, I was just kind of guessing in the dark at a certain point where it's like, okay, I have no idea what this is. Maybe it's this, and that's why it's so inconsistent, because you're all over the map, and when you're playing the game, you're probably not thinking about the relationship between your heart's position and whatever you're doing. You don't need to understand boops or yoinks, just get good with Heartbreaker? True. True. They answered it and asked the devs chat. Okay. So, I think what we need to do, I should probably add that to the bot, future me. For Tute's comment in chat, so charge abilities use pathfinding to find the closest vacant position adjacent to the target and within range. Vacant positions around the target are searched in the order northwest, northeast, west, east, southwest, southeast. And then DT's comment also from the devs, boops prioritize horizontal movement, yoinks prioritize movement towards your heart. I'll probably add these to the bot because it comes up frequently enough. People ask questions, so, you know. It's weird to me that they all function differently. Now, part of me is saying, well, okay, the game is like chess, so just have the leap always try to go, like, have the circle as described in the charge ability and try and prioritize in that order, something like that. The problem is you can't protect boops every time based on experience. Not like pulls are more simple. I mean, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what the... I'm sure they had a reason to do it this way. Maybe it's a relic of things were going to work in Phobies a different way, and then it came back to this, or evolved to this, and then they didn't update it, or there was a problem, like a technical problem, they had to do it this way or that way. It's just interesting. I agree. Game dev is hard, so there's weird stuff. All right, so A-Trend seems popular. Well, A-Trend just won Fright Night number 3, so it's got the champion title going. Even though watching you from the DS was the plan, the squinting I have to do is unbelievable due to low quality, so I'm just going to see you from the phone, probably because I'm in Europe and the connection isn't best. Does it normally, like, have you watched streams on your DS before, and the quality was actually good enough to watch? That's legitimately insane to me, if that is actually true. That's actually bonkers. Alright, chat. We're going to jump into some more game reviews. We're into, actually, the month of September now. Although we do have one from dogewhal at the end of August that we'll be doing next week. I guess dogewhal submitted, like, 8 games, so... Still have the rule where you can only submit 1 game a week. Like, you can submit more, but I'm only going to do 1 a week, so that way we can keep a rotation going, let more people get on stream. Get more game breakdowns, which, by the way, if you want to have your own game show up on stream, either on YouTube or on the live stream, RTChompGG over on Twitch, hit up the Discord. It'll be in the link section, the description of this video. And, of course, likes and subscribes help. Get that in there. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and let me know how people feel about the content in general, because oh my god, this is a long game. The game of cat and mouse starts on turn 23. So our hero here is SilverK going up against Smiley, also a participant in Fright Night. We're on Vile Vortis, as mentioned earlier. This one rotated out, but we get matching snowball openers. Well, Smiley banked to 6, which I can understand. I assume Klepto or Crushmore is going to make an appearance here. When does the season end? Next week. A week from tonight. Yeah, okay, underdog. The fact that it works even remotely is funny. 44 turns is right. Yeah, like, this is a long-ass game. So we do, in fact, get the Klepto, as predicted. Chompstradamus. We get a Blinky. This is pretty cool. You just straight up don't see Blinky that often, and I would love to use Blinky more, but I need to level it up. This is a level 9 Blinky. 558 damage with almost 2k health on an undead. Like, that's fairly tanky. This one was simple, close face-to-face. I need more flyers. All my flyers are too fragile. Yeah, on this map, obviously, flyers get a lot more value, because, you know, I mean, lobs and flyers are good on basically every map, right? There's obstacles. I don't think there's a single map without obstacles in some capacity, but on this map, especially because of the quantity that's so high, that, you know, it just gives you that ability to either pincer movement to try and collapse on your opponent, or just advance in a way that you can't if you have to run everything single file. So Panic Point Advantage hero, and we get a spider as a supplement. That means that our bad guy here is not really going to be safe taking these points back this turn. I've opened like 5 300 coffee packs so far and never got a new phobie from them. Really? My only tanky flyer is Terror, but that's just because of the high key cost. Terror isn't even necessarily that tanky. Like, this Blinky at level 9, I think has almost as much, and like, it's barely lower than Pterodactyl. But admittedly, Pterodactyl's tanky, air quotes, because of the Resurrect. And of course, Life Leech, but you get what I'm saying, where it's just not necessarily a mountain of HP. So bad guy supplemented their forces with a cat, banked to 10. Hero here is instead electing to kind of go the other route, staying low to the ground, getting spun online, another lob, and Contortio. I can appreciate both of these. I only got Mopsy, but because it was guaranteed. Gotcha. So we got a little damage going down here on Spud. The thing is, chip damage is not great on this map because of the spa. Like, you will get there. Who's my favorite damage reducer? You mean like Woolly Bully, Boo Fairy? Is there another one? I feel like there's another one that I can't think of. But anyway, we get a elimination here on the cat. Presumably Contortio is going to replace. So, I like both of them from a phobie perspective, as in, I think they're both just cool phobies. I don't have my Boo Fairy high enough level that I can actually use it. There's something I want to comment here on this turn. So I don't have the Boo Fairy high enough level. I've literally never put it in a game because I think it's like level 2. Oh yeah, Oopsie Baby. So I don't have Oopsie Baby yet. I think of the 3, Oopsie Baby's probably the best one. But Oopsie Baby, for its role, kind of gets outclassed by just the existence of a tractor. Because rather than power down, you can just yoink all their stuff and it's similar damage and range. Wooly Bully just never seems to do anything of value for me. Admittedly, it's fallen off in levels as well. Oh, you're right, Blondie. So there's forgot about Oopsie Baby. Like, that was the one that was in the back of my head and I couldn't think of, but I straight up forgot about Blondie. I've seen a lot of success with Blondie, truthfully. It feels like Oopsie Baby or Wooly Bully should be the best ones. Wooly Bully because it's the cheapest. Oopsie Baby because it's the farthest range. Whereas Blondie and Boo Fairy have their own issues. Like, Boo Fairy's super fragile, even though it puts out a ton of damage and has an extreme power down. And Blondie is slow, but has the AoE. Blondie's your fave? I mean, I like Blondie a lot. I like all of them as phobies, but I haven't had a lot of success with them. I need to level them up and then, like, try and force them in some games. But speaking of, maybe not forcing stuff, but I've talked a lot about Gonzo Bonzo showing up on this map. Instead, we have a Scritch. So, same sort of idea. We get a power-up. Obviously, Scritch represents a larger threat in and of itself, a lot more mobility, blah, blah, blah. The bad guy here is taking a panic point advantage, finally gets their own spider online. The Gator is a little interesting. I actually was forcing Gator offline in some other games just to try it out on maps without lava just to see how it would work. This is kind of cool here. So we get the aggressive invade on the spider. Is this just plain and... Oh, because you can roll the Spud up and the Scritch. There's no way bad guy thought this was going to happen. Oh, you don't even need the Scritch. Oh, baby. Scritch as far as damage goes. I mean, clearly they weren't looking for the power up here. Bad guy probably just didn't expect that to happen. It's like, there's no reason for them to send the spider in, but there's no way for you to punish the spider. So they're going to get the Blinky, but trading Blinky for the opposing spider, I think, is worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Oh, wait, can they get the spider? No, they can't. Okay. But the follow-up is a Noxious, which is going to make our hero's life complex. So, we talked about this before, that on this map, yes, there's a spot. You would think that the poison isn't going to be as valuable, but it does cause havoc within your opponent's ranks, like trying to rearrange everything, minimize the damage for the turn it happens. Once it does, remove the heal or the poison with the healing spot. It just makes life super complicated. But what's not super complicated is just eliminating this Klepto. Hero is 11 keys up. Yeah, I mean, 6 here. I mean, it's even on keys here, but board position-wise, they're definitely taking it right now. Now, this is somewhat extreme. So we get Gonzo and Scritch. This is weird. I don't know that you need both. Does anybody else feel like Scritch's animation should be like Contortio's, where it like flips when it moves or does something? So this is a really good Noxious poison. Hits the dimensional, hits the undead, hits something that's, you know, not super tanky, which ultimately goes down. Like, that was a solid turn from bad guy here. Filling out the ranks of Klopster. But Gonzo's in range to do something. Scritch is in range. There could be some mean things happening. But we're going to get a retreat instead. So the disease, they chose to put the disease on the Gator. It's going to not quite completely erase the healing. It doesn't completely negate it, but... That'd be cool, but I like the current one. The animation for Scritch, you mean? I think it's pretty cool, too. Like, I like it. It would just... I kind of like the contortio flips, plus Scritch is like a hand up top and then on top of another hand. So presumably this is a dead foul. So that foul did not get a lot of value. But here's the thing. Bad guy is now in range of lots of things happening. Like, you could boost the Hevo, boost the Scritch, yoink something. There's a few different options you have here. We're obviously getting a yoink going down. It's on the Gator. Scritch power-up going on to the Hevo. Obviously, we're going to get a dead Gator. Can you stack boosts? No. They do not stack. So whatever the first one is that you put on there, the second one won't work. I don't have Gonzo, so this is just from people reporting it in chat. So the Gator goes down, but honestly right now, it feels like advantage bad guy here. I can see why this game gets dragged out, because our hero is going to have to really do some dancing to make something happen. It's a 5-0 panic point advantage. Boom is the last phobie for our bad guy. Scritch beats. And the spider finishes it off. How often do you see that happen? And just like that, Hero's in a not terrible position. 1900 health. So this won't die to these. Noxious's poison is up, though. This might die. It's possible for this to die. I don't feel like counting it because we're going to find out shortly anyway. Now, our hero does have to make multiple things happen. You need to recap panic points, and you need to find a way to... yeah, this looks like it's dead. Oh, they're going... Oh, because it can kill the spider. Okay. That's interesting. I guess the idea here is just remove phobies that they have. We're only halfway through the game, chat, so I guess we're going to get a lot of dancing after this. Noxious goes down. This is going to feel like one of those games, like, how the hell did this take so much longer than this? But 4-1 panic point advantage, 44-65 to 68-15. Our hero has their choice of how they want to win, essentially. Ah, okay. So Hevo dies. Hevo dies. Obviously, our hero has to make some effort to stem the bleeding here, which makes sense. Gonzo gets in an aggressive position, which also I like, because you got to threaten this Jin Sting, or otherwise it's like, what's the point? So at this stage, both power-ups are live. Gonzo's getting the hell out of dodge. 470. With bees down, they can't go in and kill the Gonzo. Yet, anyway. So Scritch does a backflip when it gets hit. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. Speaking of the animations. So the retreat here, like I said, is because bees will allow the Jin Sting to kill Gonzo. Oh, excuse me, but the Scritch will not die to the Gonzo hit. Or the Jin Sting hit, rather. At this point, our hero doesn't really have to do too much. They just have to make sure they don't lose anything. So, like, Gonzo could go north. Oh, okay, so they're playing it safe. You neither for Tuesday about the flip? Yeah, Scritch just comes out so infrequently. So we're getting a lot of passing here, which is interesting. Obviously, we're doing the Protect Gonzo game again. That guy's taking an interesting line. So, because our hero has the panic point advantage, like, that guy could just go face. 1,500 health. Why is Gonzo going this way? I guess to juice this? Wait, what? This is interesting. It will take, like, 5 or 6 hits to kill the heart with just Gin Sting. So there's time. A little bit of time. We're not talking, you know, an enormous amount of breathing room here. So this is good positioning as well. It would have been very easy for our hero to go on this point because it's like, oh, well, it's in range. But this forces bad guy to back up farther than they would like, potentially. I don't know about that retreat, but stay out of range and buff. I almost, well, I guess they had too much health because you wouldn't have died to like a single volley of the Scritch attacks from the position they were in before. But this was defensively well played by Silver. It's very easy to throw from a position like this because a single move could have caused one of your Phobies to die, and then the other player can recap some points or could dive the heart, and you just don't have the damage to threaten them to push them away. But it was definitely heads up, staying on the ball by our hero here. Well done. GG. We got him. The cat and mouse game is absolutely a strong description of that. Hey, there it is. We get our coffee. I think it was at like 1,500 or something. So I didn't hit the gold for last week. I don't think I'm even going to hit a gold pack because I don't think I can do these next 70 games in a week. I have, like, if all my async games finish, it's possible, but that's unlikely. And I just don't think I'm going to have time this week to do it. So I'll probably whiff this season on the gold pack, which is, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So now I have the awkward decision of, do I try and play out my async games, or do I drag them out into next week so that they all, like, they will expire in the new season? Like, I would need, oh, I thought I still had, like, closer to 50 games, so I have 41 total games going. That's just not enough. I'm probably not going to have the time to play as much Phobies as I would like this week in order to hit that. So it is what it is. It happens. It is important to hit it regardless of what rank you're at, because getting the better, like the better rewards, I mean, obviously better rewards is better than worse rewards. That's kind of redundant, but it's such a large jump. The thing is that it does feel like a job sometimes, and we've talked about that before, where I just don't necessarily want to force myself to play Phobies. I want to log in and feel like I'm playing because I want to, not log in and feel like I'm playing because I have to. You got some Vol Fears today? Grats for Tute. Nice. Welcome to the top of Mount Ego. Or close to the summit, anyway. Here we go. Alright, strap in, got another long one. This is a longish one. Definitely a long one for Biff's room. Our hero here is Morbid Fates in the orange trunks. Like I said, we're going to be doing a ton of these. Gold packs almost always give ultra rares, but I can never get it. I've only gotten one ultra rare out of it, I think. I've only gotten one ultra rare out of them. I could be wrong. I've gotten gold pack, I want to say, 3 times. And I remember getting Morty the first time, and I don't remember what I got the other times, but I'm pretty sure. It would be nice if the gold pack guaranteed something, because that would also be a bone. So we'll mix this in as we're talking about, but it would be another bone to throw to free-to-play players. Like, okay, well, you as a free-to-play player aren't necessarily going to, you're obviously not buying a ton of packs, you're free-to-play, but you're not going to be getting all this stuff. So it would be nice if the devs would allow for, oh, well, if you just grind a ton of games, you are guaranteed once a season to get a new Phobie or something like that. It would definitely help, and it also is just going to take, because 4 weeks, just the amount of time, that, like, it's not like people are building out their collections in an incredibly quick fashion. Level 40, some Volfears, one still only have one ultra rare. I mean, some of the ultra rares are very strong, but you obviously don't need them. So we're getting some weird stuff to actually call something out for this game. Specifically, we get mirrored Jills here. I'm still not a huge fan of Creep. I'm assuming Morbid has access... Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Has access to Muffin. If not, they probably have Clinico. In which case, like, this Jin Sting is fine. The Foul is a very interesting response. I mean, as a general big 7-drop, I guess it's okay. Really. So Morbid may not have a healing phobia. I'm pretty sure they do, but I could be wrong. We're getting a Noxious, which is fine. The question is, where is this disease going to go down? I'm assuming it's supposed to be for the Quagmire. But the whole goal was that they want to get the disease onto the Quagmire and negate the healing, similar to what we saw with Gator in the previous game. The Gesundheit and other hits are going to result in dead Cowbell, so Panic Point advantage switches again. Ooh, okay. Wow. So you don't disease. Which means that, well, the Noxious was going to be able to get the Foul no matter what, basically. But this does remove important board presence. Ooh. So the Noxious does not go after the Foul. It's actually going in. It goes in to soften up the jar, so the jar will get killed by the Quagmire. I kind of like this. The Quagmire most likely will tank whatever comes out. Well, maybe not. This is... 24, so it would be 7, 19... This could be a dead Quagmire just from plain attacks. If blue player has a decently sized Stairmaster, it could just die. Among other things. I didn't even count the Jill damage. Get a little creepy Foul action. It just dies without any help. So that Foul is very, very healthy. Now, Noxious is going to be coming back online soon. No, it's not. It actually has 2 more turns. And Smiley. This is the 3rd or 4th Smiley we've seen in game reviews showing up on Biff's room. There's been a lot more Smileys as of late. I think people are just unlocking them. Like, they finally have access to them. Now, Foul should be able to... Yep, they can Funky Chicken this turn. So where is that going to land? Because I have to imagine that it's going to land on something. 3 keys to 6 keys remaining. Goes on to Jin Sting. And then Venus is the last phobie? That's very interesting. The Corona crew? I mean... Yeah, it's Team Pandemic here. Chat. What am I looking at? So the notes for this were insane toxic back and forth with a Medico for the win. So, Clinico. Morbid. Baby. What is you doing? You're going up against 2 disease phobies and your answer is Cerberus? It's a level 6 Cerberus. I mean, it's doing 1100 a clip, but I have to imagine that bad guy is salivating about this. 59.96 to 5k. I don't know, this is going to be weird. That Foul was level 1. It is a level 1 Foul. I don't know about that one, bad guy. I don't know about that one. I would just play it back and let Morbid commit because there's no, like, spread out. I don't know. This has got to be a dead Smiley, right? It's like, yes, you've now diseased the, you've diseased the Cerberus. The disease from the Smiley's a little higher. So you don't want to overwrite it with the foul. But they bunched up their Phobies for the Noxious hit. It will take time for the disease to tick on Cerberus. Man, this really is the pandemic crew. Why? Oh, who's gonna die anyway? Okay. Maybe the health of Cerberus. I mean, at this point, honestly, I think Morbid's not in a bad position. Granted, yes, you have a bunch of disease Phobies, but this is going to leech life, and it leeches an enormous amount of life. Yes, it could still die, but you still have mobility in this. This is mobile and ranged. You can heal stuff with this just to keep them alive, even if it won't cure the disease. If they kill Foul here, the game is basically over. Big burp from Ginsting. Yep. The Foul should have re-tiered? Or do you mean retired? Oh my god, we're getting a hard invade? I mean, you're not going to run down the Venus. So I get it. Alright, Vertute, no problem. So Panic Point Advantage hero again, so they're no longer taking damage on their heart. Bad guy only has Venus, and I mean, I guess this position is not... Like, it's possible for our hero to throw, but it feels like it's not. So this is dead next turn. This dies this turn to this. This dies this turn to disease unless they heal it, which they probably will. No. Triple Panic Point Advantage. They needed to swap these because I assume that was just an error. Unless they were thinking maybe there was a trap here and lost track. So suddenly this got a lot dicier because the disease finally got there, right? So Cerberus goes down. 25-73. This is a good trap because you can just kind of hang out here. Well, I guess, I mean, it's fine. But clearly our hero has the appropriate idea. They're just going to go for it. Because they have the Panic Point Advantage for another turn, thanks to how slow Venus is. This makes sense. Over 8k from disease damage. There was a lot of disease damage that went down. A lot of disease damage. So finally Panic Points go the other way, but 1100 and change to 2k. Oh no! Oh, never mind. Never mind, the Venus was so beat up. I didn't notice what turn it was. GG. That was pretty funny, Morbid. That was cute. Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of errors. I think Bad Guy had the game in the bag and kind of punted. Not kind of. They did what I usually do and kicked the game into the stratosphere, because that invade in the south corner, like the southeast corner, just got a bunch of their stuff killed for nothing. I don't know that Smiley was worth it, but at the same time, you went Smiley, and then your opponent responded by going Cerberus. Now, the Cerberus was able to walk its ass from the spawn through Smiley, hitting Smiley on the way, and still get attacks on the heart. So I guess Smiley, even connecting that early, isn't going to be a great answer, but it's similar to a sheep. You're damaging it with this effect so that you soften it up because it's a mountain of hit points, so that way you can get rid of it with everything else. The problem is that invade meant that you set a bunch of keys on fire and then never actually were able to follow anything up after that. You were kind of on the back foot from there on out. On top of losing other stuff on other turns, but... Definitely a weird one. Definitely a weird one. I do love that it's insane, toxic back and forth, because yes, There was a lot of disease. I could see that being referred to as toxic, as opposed to the more modern definition. The more modern internet definition of toxic. Alright, we have the fabled Crazy Stripes game. I mean, it's Ram Ram, but it's Crazy Stripes. Did Morbid get reviewed? We just did Morbid's game. Alright, so this was against this person. So welcome back, Crazy Stripes, or as you see, our hero in the blue trunks, Ram Ram, here on Exponential Decay. The notes for this game are a game with a lot of sacrifices, but in the long run, I outplayed them. Alright. 27-turn game. This is, oddly enough, the larger of the last of these three games. Larger map of these three games, and yet a shorter turn count, even though the player submitting it was saying that it was in the long run, which is kind of ironic. I don't know. I'm tired. Things that are funny to me aren't necessarily actually that funny, but whatever. Anyway, so we get dronies out of both players, which is definitely unique for this map. Unfortunately, that means this cat is dead. Hey, Honda, what's good? So, the cat dying is significant for a couple reasons. One, they obviously get this panic point. And even aside from that, the cat is no longer there to go and help recap other things. But we do still have a 3-2 panic point advantage hero. And for some reason, we're seeing a Hydra. I am unclear on why the Hydra showed up. I've been memeing with Hydra offline, honestly. And it just... I don't know. It's just not good. Just watch Miss Shaw and 5 Dreadful. She got a Dozer and Boomer from it. Nice! Dozer's pretty cool. Gotta love some Dozer action. I'm still not really sold on Boomer, but I gotta force it more. I keep saying that about a lot of Phobies. What I do want to do, chat, is do a write-up on, even if it's just for my own personal notes, like, what are my common openers and then my thoughts on certain maps, and then, like, okay, these are my notes for when it comes back in rotation, try this instead, sort of thing. So we do get a Slammerhead. We saw a Slammerhead in an earlier game on this map, and it was actually hilarious. But Ram Ram here is picking off a few different Phobies. Getting the, well, oh no, the droney lived. It moved over to here, but we got the murder wing at least. The hero droney has to obviously retreat. I'm not super excited about this Clinico. I get it, because this gives you a little more flexibility if you want to try and, like, tank a hit from the Hydra. Horror music from a horror movie. I mean, I can see it. I can see it, Honda. We'll probably talk about it more after the game, but I had a bunch of thoughts yesterday on the different things that could work for Phobies. Because Phobies isn't like a super serious horror. It's horror, but it's not like super duper hardcore slasher or like existential dread or something like that. It's more like tongue-in-cheek jokes and things like that. So I could see it being like AC/DC style metal or rock. I could also see it being metal songs like Rob Zombie stuff, like Picture Dragula, Living Dead Girl, that sort of thing. I can even see rap, truthfully. Ooh, this was a good boop. You gotta call it out even when it's the bad guy. Like, that was a good boop. Good boop, get the snipe. Bunch of things going down here for our hero. So the Hydra is getting some value. Phobies Instagram posted a pic. That pic had small information about the creator of Phobies music. Oh, what did they say, Honda? Looking back, my opponent was pushing a lot of movement control. Yeah, I mean, they have the Finnegan coming in as well, so I could see it. Could they have killed Hydra with Droney and Clinico? So we're saying this turn. We'll see what it ends up with. No. 762 health, that's going to be too much. Although, 1, 2, 3... I don't know where the drone... I think the droney was like here or here. So it should have been in range. But this was a good play from bad guy. Like, that was a solid turn. We get the pterodactyl follow-up. Repositioning, 3-2 panic point advantage, bad guy now. And unfortunately, the Clinico bites the dust. But Hydra was eliminated on the previous turn, remember. Honestly, this position isn't bad for our hero. You can't necessarily get this stuff. You're going to get a multi-sheep hit. If our hero has access to Muffin, I think you definitely go in and kill the spider here. Just because otherwise you're... But you can't let the spider linger. It needs to get removed from the board. But we get a Kerbloom. Yeah, Kerbloom. This is interesting. You don't have Muffin? Alright. I mean, that's reasonable. If you don't have Muffin, you already lost Clinico. It's a risk to, like, get your 2 non-resurrecting Phobies poisoned. Although this looks like it's a dead pterodactyl, is it? Oh, that's close. I assume this was calculated. 147 health. It's annoying that it's going to be such low health, especially in light of this beauty. Until the beauty, I was going to say this is probably fine. But with the beauty, this makes it super scary. Because it's going to be easy... Well, easier for bad guy to just snipe the pterodactyl. So we're seeing some sheep violence go down. Spreading the love a little bit as far as damage goes. Droney Assassin. Always gotta love those. Kerbloom takes out the sheep. And the Finnegan. Wow. I didn't double check the damage numbers, but that was a decisive turn. Should Miss Moffat have bitten first and then use the sheep ability? Possibly. The Miss Moffat could have like a super high 508. Yeah, it would have been better to have the sheep poison applied second. It definitely mattered. Sort of. I mean, obviously Beauty comes in and cleans up. And we get a high 5 coming in. 0 keys to 0 keys. This is one of those scenarios I don't like investing all these keys into a singularly large phobie for these sort of scenarios. You just risk a lot by putting that much effort in. Because if your opponent does something like this, so the droney's not going to kill this. This can't stay. So, like, you're in a really weird spot here where you've invested all in on this, but you're not going to kill their heart. Like, the high 5 is just not going to get there. This is where the game gets interesting. All right. All right, so high 5 is all up on the heart. Now, you have to be careful about the line attack here. Obviously, high 5 can also represent a threat. AoE and line attack. The droney from the beginning of the game is still alive. This is kind of wild. All right, panic point advantage hero. This is interesting positioning because this high 5 now, whereas previously you were representing, oh no, the jar goes down. That's kind of a big deal. That kind of matters. This is a level 9 high 5. I was looking at the jar and I'm like, why did that just die in one shot? Was it damaged? No, that's a level 9 that does 620 damage. So we are getting some damage going down on the high 5 in order to at least soften it up somewhat. But this is a big nasty that's going to leech life off hitting this Contortio, who actually lives with 12 health. That's very relevant. 2100 health. Whenever you use high five to attack something that's not the heart, that's a mistake. Yes and no. I mean, it is an AoE attack. I have to wonder how useful, like, and down goes high five, never mind, not a problem. Like, I have to wonder how useful is high five outside of diving heart. Here, it just looked worthless, so I guess not very good. So we're getting the great collapse here onto the beauty. Big life lead, so you can take a couple turns off with this. Pretty well played. Pretty well played. Get that last panic point. The snipe on the beauty with the Stairmaster, the Eye of Sauron, drops the laser, and GG. Well played, Ram. Slash Crazy Stripes. Pretty well done. Honestly, I think the high five was just a mistake. I think if they went like a 5 cost and a 3 or 5-2-1 or 5-1-1-1 or something like that, you would have been better off. The high five may have been like, I've accepted defeat. The positioning on the beauty that allowed it to take 1 billion damage, also problematic. I don't know. There were a few things that bad guy did that I felt were questionable in that game. Stairmaster always, or iMaster always wins the stare downs. True. True. You're not wrong there. Don't blink, you'll miss it. See, it works for blinky puns, too. It works for blinky puns. So technically, chat, I only need to do one more game review, but for this weekend, but we're gonna probably just keep doing them. I'm seeing. All right, chat, we're back. So yeah, I put the question command to, like, just because I was thinking about this yesterday, and Onda popped it up, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. The question for right now is, if Phobies was a music genre, what genre would it be? And obviously, like Onda suggested, one of the ideas, obvious one is, well, it's a horror movie music. Fun fact, Phobies horror game was composed by German horror composer Nicholas Gasparini, I guess? Not sure how to say the name. He'll be performing at the San Japan, a large anime and gaming convention in Texas, as a musical guest this weekend. That's the pic set in the post. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I could see Phobies having, you know, the background music from a horror movie, a slasher movie, or otherwise. But I don't know that it necessarily has to be. Because the, like I was saying earlier, because of the nature of Phobies, yes, it's these spooky, scary monsters. But they're not, like, heart-gripping terror sort of thing. It's a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes, a lot of fun to be had here and there. Obviously, the whole Lippy thing. I could see it being, like, as I said earlier, the first things that come to mind were, like, AC/DC. Bedlam in Belgium, If You Want Blood. Other songs, Paint It Black, Welcome to the Jungle. Then I was jumping to other, like, more modern metal and rock, like Disturbed with Down with the Sickness or Voices. There's actually several metal bands that have a song named Voices, so there you go. What were the other ones? There's a My Chemical Romance song called Mama that felt like it would fit. Like, basically, I was mentally building a playlist of songs that feel Phobies, if that makes sense. And I think I'm going to do that because I have some projects in mind that I don't know if they're ever going to get off the ground, but I have some ideas in mind for some things that I kind of want to try. So I was curious what the community thought and, like, what chat thought. Or anybody on YouTube, when you watch this on YouTube, let me know down in the comments. If Phobies was a genre of music, what would be the most appropriate one? And I feel like there's a variety of different things that could fit. And whether it's stylistically, or you just need the appropriate lyrics, or you need certain things, like, I think there's a lot of ways to make it work. We actually see, excuse me, oof, we actually see first player on floor is lava go down here. I picked a random game, but it can be done, chat. It can be done. But yeah, I figured it was an interesting thing to think about at the very least. Alright, so let's get back on this game review grind. If you're watching this on YouTube, a lot of game reviews quite clearly. I hope everybody enjoys watching the game reviews, but if you don't, or if you do, let me know. Because I'm curious. I'm curious how many people are, you know, how many games of other people do you watch when it's not me, obviously. Just got done making my memes. Are you planning to make any? I'm probably not going to do it, Bozo. I didn't feel the creative bug when they first announced it. I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, I think it's actually a great engagement option. I just don't know, like, I don't know. When it was first announced, I'm like, in my head, we were talking about it on stream the other day, that, and by the time this goes live on YouTube, we'll already have had the winners, and probably the next contest will be up. If I had something in mind, like, that immediately came to mind, I would do it. But I don't think a meme about, like, gameplay is gonna be the right thing. Alright, Underdog, thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. I don't think a meme about gameplay is really gonna be the right thing, necessarily. Like, a funny play, like you do something silly, is not the right thing. Unless, for example, it is... And I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if it has to be a picture as opposed to a clip. If you have one of those games where you're just chasing each other around the map and you just speed it up and put it to yakety sacks or something like that, I think that would be pretty funny. But I don't think that if you just post a board state and then do something funny about it, like, I think it has to go beyond that. And I think most people will. I think some of the meta memes, like the meta community references, things like that, are more likely to do well, but you have to hit something that's ubiquitous enough that people will know what it is. If it was, for example, a meme from my channel, people who don't watch stuff or see it constantly are not going to know. So, hey, Taco, what's good? So I'm looking forward to what people come up with. I just haven't thought of anything. Although it did prompt, like, in thinking about the meme contest, it did prompt, ultimately, because my brain does weird stuff, that's what got me onto the Phobies music genre idea. You recently had some cheesecake? I legitimately don't think I've ever had cheesecake. I don't like cake in general. We've talked about this before, but I don't think I've ever had a cheesecake. I legitimately don't think I have. I don't think images will do that well, too. Well, I think images are fine. I just don't think if you're just ripping a gameplay board state and slapping some words on it, or putting it in a meme format, that it's not gonna work out well, necessarily. Like, there were a few that I saw already that were kind of going that route, that it was just... trying to think of the specific one, but I can't. I want to say it was like... No, that wasn't it. Basically, it was, oh, well, this phobie beats this phobie, LOL. That's not that great. I don't think that's going to do super well. I think there are things that could work. Generally, videos are funnier. I guess. It depends. It depends. Because everybody thinks their own jokes are hilarious, right? And I'm not saying this to crap on anybody, but, you know, everybody always feels that their jokes are hysterical, so it's just, you know. I just looked at this. I thought this was the game we were reviewing. Level 80 to 15? But that's not the game we're looking at. We're looking at this game. So there are no notes on this game, but our hero here is Kutta in the orange trunks. I don't remember if I've said this before. I don't know what Kutta's name is referencing, but the first thing that comes to mind is Warhammer 40k, and it sounds like one of the orcs. Cheesecake isn't really a cake, it's more of a pie because it has a crust. I'm not a huge fan of pie either. I don't know, I just don't like that sort of stuff. I never have. And I always feel weird when I say that because, for example, I never had birthday cakes as a kid because I mean, I'm sure I did at one point, and then my parents realized, hey, he's not going to eat it. Let's not do this anymore. Which is kind of weird when you think about it, right? Maybe it's not that weird, but it feels a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, we get some interesting openers here. Bunch of one drops, but an early resurrect phobia, I've talked about it before. I'm not super excited about it. Free cheesecake, you're not missing anything. I guess, I don't know. I just don't. Whatever. I mean, I don't mind trying new stuff, but I feel like there are way more interesting foods to try than arbitrarily cheesecake, you know what I mean? I'm not a cake person too, sometimes just having one slice is enough. Yeah, I think that's, I don't want to say that's true for most people, but I don't know very many people that are going to sit there and eat like a whole cake. First of all, that would be super unhealthy, but cheesecake is awesome. I have purchased it by the slice because I bought a whole one home. It would make myself sick. Okay, well, Doc is the person who's going to buy a whole cake and take it home and eat it. I said I don't know that many people, not that I don't know any. But in the meantime, we're getting a triple panic point advantage for bad guy. This is a weird game, chat. This is a really weird game. This definitely reeks of low stress level, both by virtue of the phobies that are showing up, as well as... Whoa, really? Know thyself. I have to keep stuff like that away from me. Hey, as long as you're in charge, Doc, and you take care of yourself. So bad guy is super aggressive here, going all in, trying to push a ton of damage here. I don't know if this is going to work out the way they think it's going to. Now, this Gesundheit is going to eat it, but the thing is that bad guy is going to hemorrhage a ton of board position here. They basically lost everything. Now, the jar can come in to try and get the Gesundheit, but if it does now, the jar is dead from either erratic or the murder wing. The sheep is clearly intended to fight the erratic, but here from this position, I think the erratic can just kind of walk in, tank it, and then go from there. We get the sacrificial Gesundheit because it's clearly not going to last very long. 118 health. It'll even die to this Clinico. The positioning is a little bit weird. Inching up the murder wing. This seems fine. My concern would be they can move Clinico in, kill this, sheep the jar, but that shouldn't kill the jar. 508. Oh no, it will. Wow. And this is the reason I was worried about it. Triple panic point advantage, and you have no way to punish the sheep immediately. My mom used to buy me Black Forest cake on my birthday when I was still a kid. The cake tastes good, but I'm more aiming at the cherry than the cake. Fair. Fair. I do like cherries. I can't remember the last time I ate a cherry, though. Wow, the sheep just dies? We clicked on it before, and I guess it just didn't register that it was 796 health remaining. So at this point, despite having an enormous amount of damage done to their heart, only 605 health remaining, our hero is basically in complete control of this game. 4 keys remaining, 4 phobies on the board. You're going to get triple panic point advantage before your opponent can even think about getting in there. This game is over. Like, when did this turn? I don't know if it necessarily was a single turn. Let's put it into... Oh, because they hit it both, right? This was actually very well set up by our hero. This was effectively bait to get this sheep. Because this was a super juicy target. It's like, oh, I get their Gesundheit, then I can get their jar, and then they can't really do anything. except they can. This is really good. I had a cheesecake once that in multiple types, taking a quarter of the cake / pie. One of the cakes I remember was chocolate mousse cheesecake. Really? Or chocolate mousse, I guess? I don't know if that's a typo. I remember, because it was my favorite one, they weren't touching, by the way, they were separated. Interesting. That Gesundheit got so much value. Yeah, absolutely, DT. That's why I wanted to scroll back for a second to see, because... So, one thing, because we were talking about all kinds of random crap during this game, but one thing I will say about this is Kutta played this incredibly patiently. Now, we've seen a lot of games, we've reviewed a lot of games where the hero ends up barely scraping by with hard health, but this felt way more planned, way more methodical than some of those games, because some of those games, it turned out, oh, well, the hero clutches victory from the jaws of defeat by the skin of their teeth, and choose your cliche phrase. But they squeak it out just because they dive or bad guy makes a positioning error or whatever. Here, it just felt like, no, I am perfectly fine with how this is going down. You are overcommitting. I'm going to punish you for overcommitting, and then that's the game. What was the hard health at the end? We will find out now, because we're into the final turn. 380 hard health before this happened. This, I mean, well played, Kutta. I think this is a really strong game. I think bad guy just got overzealous, truthfully. I think that was what ultimately did them in, is that they said, hey, I'm going to get down here, and I'm going to get your jar and your Gesundheit. But you didn't need to. You didn't absolutely have to. Now, part of that is you also get triple panic point. You'd be pushing a bunch of damage on the heart. So, you know, it's not... I get the temptation, but ultimately it didn't work out. Well played. Oh, there's a question in here. What do you think of a game mode where all phobies are level 1 and all phobies are available to play for all players, like chess? I think that would be awesome. I think it will never happen, Silver, unfortunately. I don't know, when did I miss that question from way earlier? Like, when did that question happen? Oh, it's right there. I don't know why I wasn't showing in chat. Kutta used high elo strategy with low elo phobies, mad respect. Yeah, it was very well played, Kutta. Real talk, that was a super... If you're watching this afterwards, go back and watch that game. Because that was very well executed. Very well executed. And I know we were talking about BS most of the time, but it was just a very patient, methodical recovery and takedown. Like, this is the control deck strategy that we always talk about when we're comparing it to card games. So, to go to SilverJin's question... We've talked about this before. So, full disclosure, you know, content affiliate, they don't tell me this stuff. They wouldn't anyway. I think that I reached a gold pack, not even close, Honda. I'm not going to get it. I don't think I'm going to end up playing enough games this week, because I just don't have time. But so going to SilverJin's question, which was, what do you think of a game mode where all phobies are level 1 and all phobies are available to play for all players? I think that would be awesome. That is the ideal Phobies experience. I just cannot envision a world where that's actually the case. That they would provide that, because then it strips away one of the two primary reasons to as the players, put money into Phobies. So one of the big things and this is something from card games, whether people admit it or not, one of the primary driving factors is the collection aspect. And honestly, if they gave everybody all the Phobies, the player base would plummet. Now, I'm basing this off of, well, you could say nothing, because I have no information. Like, I don't have a 80% survey of the population telling me this. It's from experience from card games. So, what happens there is basically people... As much as people complain about having to put money in, it's absolutely ridiculous in physical card games, and you can make the argument here, even in Phobies or other mobile games, that there's a lot of money you have to put in. And yes, people would prefer it to be cheaper, but there's a point where if you just have everything, the collection aspect of the adrenaline rush, the serotonin from cracking packs is a thing that makes people come back. It's basically like, it's just the addictive nature of it. Now, I don't like it, so it's easy for me to say that. So the thing is that I don't think they will do it, the devs, and this is all prefacing before we actually talk about it. They won't do it because it takes that whole thing away. Plus, if there's a mode where you can play that, it also then takes away the other big thing, which is phobie levels. So now there's literally no reason to ever buy packs. Which, you could buy packs or coffee for, you know, avatars and stuff. Maybe they introduce other cosmetics, which I would love, but their primary way to make money right now is selling coffee so that you can buy packs. That's basically it. So that's why I'm prefacing this with, I don't think they will do it. It doesn't make any business sense to do it. But I think it would be great for the players. I think it would be amazing. I think the people that enjoy Phobies and wouldn't burn out on it, which is also another subset. So all those people that unconsciously want the collection aspect, you know, the treadmill of getting higher level Phobies, those sort of things. Some of them, even if they truthfully do want to just play Phobies, are going to get sick of the fact that everything's at level 1 and they're getting their dicks knocked in the dirt because they're maybe not as good as they thought they were. Could be me too. So, again, reasons why they wouldn't do it. I think it would be amazing for the players, and I legitimately would never play any other mode. I would never play ladder again. And that is also a problem for the game, because then that decreases the player pool for the people who are whaling the game and want to show off that they have the level 150 phobie or the whole collection or whatever. And now it basically, like, it kneecaps their entire experience. But I think from a game perspective, like, say you could buy Phobies, like you could go to Steam and buy a game. You know, like, it's $60 and you get Phobies. You get every phobie. They all are at the same level. You get all the maps, all this stuff. That is my ideal Phobies game. I think that would be awesome, and I would just play that. We could do, I mean, we already do stream challenges, people challenging the stream, which, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, come by the live stream, RTChompGG. You could try and challenge me and kick my ass in front of all these people. It'll end up being on YouTube because I'm not cutting any of those out. Just don't troll me because I'll get annoyed. But I think it would be awesome, and I think it would be spectacular for the players on a number of fronts. Actual play experience, because it allows people to run through all those scenarios, actually figure out and really assess things. Because right now, when you're on the ladder, your games are incredibly skewed. Inherently. With the way the in-game economy works, the games are completely skewed. Because not everybody has every phobie, so if phobie A gets countered by phobie B, and you don't have phobie B, C, D, E, that would be reasonable counters to phobia A, guess what? You're SOL, and you either have to brute force it, or lose. Those are the options, basically. So it does create different gameplay because, hey, I happen to have gotten a ton of upgrade cards, so now I have a level 15 whatever. I'm gonna just bludgeon people with that because at a certain level, sometimes the levels just beat people. Uh-oh, alright, we got a challenge coming in. We'll do that after we finish this up. So the point is that I think it would allow people to experience other parts of the game, but I think, and this is not intended to be like, oh, well, Phobies is not a good game or people don't really like it, but I think the combination of people liking Phobies as a theme, people liking Phobies as a gameplay experience, and then people also getting the, you know, the lizard brain stimulus of opening packs and getting new stuff, the combination is what keeps people coming back. When you take one of those elements away, there's a risk that you're going to effectively alienate a good portion of the player base, and obviously that's not good for anyone. What do I think about Scritch? I know you have it, but I never see you use it. My Scritch is kind of underleveled. I'm not a huge fan. I feel like Gonzo's better. That being said, there are certain maps like Vile Vortis, which is just rotated out, that I think Scritch is pretty solid on. I think it's pretty solid. Alright, chat. Scrungle. So, you send me an invite or let me know what we're doing and we'll get the challenge underway. But Scritch is 2-move, decent damage and buff. The reason I like Gonzo more is because the difference between 3 and 4 is not significant enough from a range perspective. So as long as your thing is the thing that's going to hit, like the actual attacker is already in range, the Gonzo can just move up within 3 spaces, juice it, and then it's fine. And you paid less keys. Like, I'm valuing the keys more than the buff. That may not be correct, but I've seen, honestly, from, if like you watch higher level ladder games, I've seen way more Gonzos than I've seen Scritch. I saw a bunch of Scritch early on, like when I first started playing. Maybe not a bunch, but I saw a lot more Scritch than Gonzo then, or at very least equal levels as compared to what we have now. We get a snowball opener, which, you know, we're back to the snowball thing on this map. I feel as though Grunkly here has done their homework on what my typical openers are on this map. Feel like they did a little bit of homework here. Maybe because of the nerf? I thought Scritch got buffed. Did it get nerfed? I don't remember. Here's the thing. Scritch is nerfed Stairmaster for 1 more key with damage buff. Gonzo is nerfed Bo Mangles for 1 more key with equal damage buff. When you're saying more and equal damage buffs, are you saying compared to the other phobia you're saying? So, like, or I'm confused. I know Scritch has more of a damage buff than, what's it called? Gonzo, but S. Grunkly, more like S. Wrinkly? What? Scritch got a 25 damage nerf? Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember, truthfully. So if we put it here, this and this hit it. Well, this and this could hit it, too. So that's, yeah, that would be death. We're not going to move it up. Scritch, I think, is mostly good on big maps when you want to bring a buffer across the map. Even there, like, Vile Vortis is a fairly large map, and I've seen way more Gonzo than Scritch there. Buff is the same for both? Okay. These are the questions that keep you up at night. 300 level 1? Okay. I'd have to double check. I don't know off the top of my head, because I obviously don't use them all that frequently. Like I said, Gonzo has impressed me as of late, specifically because of On Vile Vortis, so it's reasonable. This song is one of the creepiest ones. So this is 950. There are some unfortunate things that could result out of this. Like this comes in, this follows up. I almost feel like that's okay, though. If our opponent exposes that much stuff, I feel like we're not unhappy about it. That wasn't what I was necessarily going to go for, but I mean, I'll take that if it's there. The alien map song just feels empty sometimes, like really in space. I mean, I'm sure that was part of the direction that they were going for. When I say the art team in Phobies has done a great job, it isn't just the artists, like the actual character models and things like that. It is definitely the music. I've mentioned it elsewhere, but I've absolutely found myself like humming the main screen music before. 100% happens. Shocker, Toy Story Monkey is better than Addams Family Hand. It's better than Thing. Oh, this isn't enough damage. I thought it was going to be. I assumed that it was. I didn't count it up. You like the alien song? So is it the same alien song on all, like, Moai, Phobos, and Vile Vortis? Scritch is ultra rare. It's probably reason to. Not too many people have it. Also a fair point. That's a fair point. I don't remember, you know, like, I don't pay attention to other people's collections enough. I barely remember what's in my collection half the time. Hence, the Morty never showing up. All Moai maps have the same song? Okay. I figured they did. I just wasn't really sure. We'd have to be, like, here. I hate having to do something silly like this, but it's the only way to eliminate this thing. Our opponent banked to 8, which is a little spooky. My cat is working against me right now, distracting me with love and snuggles. That's what the furry friends do, right? The puppy is not hanging out here right now with me. This is why I was talking about trying to get like a puppy cam so that people can see her snoozing on the couch behind me when she comes down for the stream. But she doesn't necessarily like hanging out down here all that much sometimes. Like some nights she's down here all night and some nights she just doesn't want to, so nobody needs the couch cam, you know what I mean? Your dog is with you? I mean, I love my dog. She is... Every dog is the best dog in the world. Which actually reminds me of something really sad, Chad. Is anybody... I forget the name of the short story. I want to say it was called, like, the Rainbow... No, it wasn't the Rainbow Bridge. It was basically a story of what happens to dogs after they die. Is my wife's profile pic in Discord the puppy? Yep. You can also see a picture. That was the secret, because it's been a while. If you read the breakdown from Fright Night number 3 that I put on the website, there's a picture of the dog at the end. The Biff's Room theme map sometimes has class bells ringing like kids saying something. Ah, that's pretty cool. I never listened to it that closely. When I'm streaming, I obviously have the sound turned down, so I don't hear it as much. Dog is with me, but he's not wearing his collar because it's dirty. I cleaned it, but I'm too lazy to put it back on. Let him be free. I don't know if this is going to work. Game. Like, I don't know if we have enough damage here. We do have enough damage. I just don't know if this is actually a good idea, truthfully. This seems super ambitious, honestly. Like, this does not seem like a good idea, I'm not gonna lie. You forgot the wall break? I don't know if this is a good idea, because I walked into the teeth of your army and you have something on the stem. So, like, I could get punished pretty hard for this. My dog's very loyal and obeying. Even when they're not, they're still good boys and good girls. Scrungle in tears. I mean, I'm a big dog person, so is my wife, but I am fine with all kinds of pets. All kinds of pets. My wife, even when we were, like, before we even got engaged, and, like, we knew we were gonna get engaged, or, like, I guess technically she didn't know, but, like, I knew, and we were talking about, oh, well, if we moved in together, what are we gonna do, and, like, how are we gonna do this or that, and in every scenario, basically, the first step was, well, we're getting a dog. Yeah, so we traded Snowball and Crushmore for Wooly Bully. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. Hey, Zero Mixie, thank you for the follow, much appreciated, and welcome, welcome. And Cassowary. Like, this was an atrocious trade, chat. We did terrible here. Show the puppy on screen. She doesn't like getting picked up, but we'll see what we can manage. So if we go up here, we're just gonna die, right? If we hit this again... Hold on. Game, please. Really struggling to get it to do what I want it to do. You have to move because otherwise bad things are going to happen. So, like, they can kill this. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, it's looking like it, Onda, because I'm not doing very well. I threw away a lot of keys on that turn. I like small dogs because they're easy to pick up and cuddle. Easier than a big dog. So, trust me. Yes, the small dogs are easier to pick up. Because, by definition, they're smaller. But, big dogs have no problem with parking their fat asses in your lap. They will absolutely just show up and sit on you, and they don't care. Like, my wife really wanted to get a Bernese Mountain Dog, which if you're not familiar with what they are enormous dogs. They're also adorable. Like, you can go look them up. They're adorable dogs, but they are huge. They are, in fact, rather large. I'm just glad the cat is a chill type than hyperactive type. Fair. Same with French Bulldogs. I mean, I guess I could say they're dogs that I'm not, like, huge fans of. Like, dog breeds. But pretty much I'll go with whatever dog. I don't care. I just love dogs, so... So if we did like this, you end up here, and then you end up dead. Oh, that actually dies. That's not good. This is a bit unfortunate. This one's not looking good, chat, for me. So, like, this can connect here, but then nothing else can reach it right now. I love bulldogs of any kind. I mean, my wife loves bulldogs. I mean, like I said, we love basically any kind of dog. She really wanted a larger dog initially, but we've lucked out with this, with Harley, our puppy. Oh, this was an error. This was a huge mistake. This didn't need to be here. But Harley is a great dog. I should have put this here, because I wanted to be able to put it on the stim, like move on to the stim next turn, but instead I did this, which was just stupid. So, like, this took almost, I was gonna say almost 900, but it took 859 damage for literally no purpose. There's a short film on YouTube from Pixar named Kit Bull, story about a kitten and a pit bull. Interesting. Never heard of that one. Alright, so opponent still has 5 keys remaining, which makes this kind of challenging. I guess we'll spread the damage a little bit here. You could get hit by this and this, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, we'll say, so you'll live. I don't know what comes out of stim and kills this, because Snowball's dead. It would, like, I don't think anything can kill it, but we're gonna play it safer. Six and 266, so 866, 870 or so. This seems okay. This will force a retreat, I believe. Evo 2.0, maybe to get him off the stem. Yeah, I mean, it was going to be one of the big Hevos because of this. There's a short film named Feast about a French bulldog helping out a man out of, I'm assuming that's divorce, about a French bulldog eating food. Is it animated, or is it, like, a, for lack of a better way to put it, a normal story? Cocktail Party is better? I mean, it's pretty good. Alright, so Spider's the last phobie. Animated? Okay, cool. Not quite enough. I don't know if this is a good idea, what we're doing, but we're gonna try. It's 3 minutes long, gotcha. Like, was it, because Pixar usually puts that stuff in their movies, did they, like, was it in something else? Like, a part of something else, I mean? Or is it just released on YouTube and it was just like a one-time thing? Or one-off thing, I guess is the better way to phrase it. There it is. I was gonna say, like, the jar has to go up there this turn if it's gonna do it. Maybe they just want to have a little fun. I mean, it could be. I guess this is fine. Just found out the lore for the film and the names of the characters are interesting. The man is named Winston and he gets married to a waitress named Kirby. Interesting. What year is it supposed to take place? Never mind, the dog's name is Winston. That sounds like a bulldog name. That sounds like a very bulldog name. So we're trying to cut off, like, the potential invade here on the cat, so, like, we could beat it up, but I don't know if that's actually going to materialize. You could go here, so the best we can do is, like, this. Otherwise, we risk getting a yoink, and that would probably end the game on the spot. Also, the dog is a Boston Terrier, not a Bulldog. Okay. Winston's still a cool name. Alright, so if we leave the Inoculus here, it dies to the Spider. Could I kill Stairmaster that turn? Possibly. I don't remember where I was positioned, so... maybe. I'd have to go back and look at it, Grayos, honestly. Okay, so can we do anything to the spider? Can we get the spider here?
I feel like we've connected.
We can get the spider, but that means that this gets us back. So they could instead yoink the Klepto. That would also be bad. Game. So we're abandoning this, but if we trade it for, like, these 3 points, I think that's fine. Should be fine. There's some mean things that could happen depending on how these yoinks go. So, like, this can't hit us, this could hit us, this could hit, and this could hit. Which means that the Hevo should live, but... Ginsting ability, it needed another hit from something else. It needed another hit because it would still had like multiple hundred left. So we could have got it. But then we would have lost out on the counter attack. Basically, we would have gotten hit by these three. Like 1, 2, 3, so it probably would have been a dead Klepto and a dead Innocuous. Because the Bowmangles would have still been alive, is the problem. And killing the spider probably was still valuable, but didn't quite get to where we wanted to be. So you come down here and yoink to this spot. They could yoink the Hevo, but I want to, like, be able to threaten stuff. If they yoink this, it's not going to kill it. They don't have enough stuff in range. That might have, honestly, Silver, maybe it would have been a fine play. Making you think too much? It's part of the game! Sometimes, like, that is part of it. Just screw with your opponent's head. Now you're very sad. I get that feeling, Taco. I absolutely understand it. $182, huh? I don't think we can, because the Innocuous can't connect with the spider. This is unfortunate, but I don't, like, this is valuable enough, I think, to do it. I think. I could be wrong here, because they should not be able to kill either of these. They should not... They can kill the Jin Sting, but... You forget I can just kill the Klepto with the spider poison, but then you're going to lose the spider. Like, this is going to take multiple turns of this for that to be the case. So it's going to be Hevo and Innocuous against Spud is what this will amount to, is why I was okay with it. Now, I forgot to update the bot again. I'm going to update that to Rumbleverse. What are we going to play for variety tomorrow, chat? I know people were asking for Hunt, but everybody seems to be enjoying Rumbleverse as well. Dark Cannon gonna get burned by Hevo. Exactly, yeah. So, like, the sacrificial Jin Sting was still fine, because if they leave the jar there, Hevo just murders it. I'm just not happy right now. I've kind of backed you into a corner here. What's funny is this Spud, despite me trying to attack it on multiple occasions earlier in the game, it's basically remained untouched. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Are you the gator from Peter Pan? I guarantee that's going to be a card in Lorcana, which will be funny. Spud power. Potato power. You go here. You can hit, you can hit, you can hit twice. If we don't move, what do you do? I have what may be considered a spicy opinion. Uh-oh. Spud OP. Spud is pretty good. So here's the question, chat. Like, I could chase Scrungle down. But that feels like I'm just risking something dying for basically no gain. I'm guessing there's a story attached to that statement, Atona. Did you just have a unpleasant experience with McDonald's? Or is there a second part to this statement that you're going to say that their other options are crap? So let's see, what do we do here? Basically, if they move anything in range, I'm going to kill it. McDonald's Quarter Pounder with bacon and Sprite is my favorite thing to order. I mean, I'll confess I got McDonald's this morning because like I said, I was doing real life stuff yesterday, so I needed to pick up some food. And, like, it's fine, but you know what you get. Never cared much for McDonald's, not even as a child. They have the worst burgers of all fast food. Their fries are mediocre. They're not cheaper than other fast food options. McDonald's is pointless. If you prefer McDonald's to other fast food places, you have a palate of weasel. Whoa, weasels are pretty cool. I think McDonald's is fine. I think I put parts of their menu above others. Like, I don't really... I mean, first of all, let's be real. Taco Bell, S tier, tier 0, top tier, whatever. Taco Bell, full stop, best one. If we're talking just, like, burger places specifically, there's a few different things option-wise. I don't know if I can get them with this, but we're gonna see. Game. Please. 159. Can't quite do it. So this is 4, 6. I actually really can't stand Baja Blast. You just charge him with Evo at this point. I literally can't get it below 1K. I know, this also so I can talk chat at the same time. I'm not trying to troll you, Scrungle. But honestly, like, me moving in is a way I could lose, hypothetically. But realistically, I don't think there's any way that you could ever encroach on me, and I have a panic point advantage, so I would eventually get there. Bro, I get the 10 for 10 tacos now. Like, I love Taco Bell. Yeah, I really don't like most Burger King food. The worst, the thing with all of them is whenever they're like, oh, well, we have this spicy new thing. And it's like, no, it's just terrible sauce you're putting on it. GG, Scruggle, GG. They don't have 10 for 10 anymore. It's like 10 or 13. Well, yes. But I meant, like, they still have the 10 taco thing. The tacos have gone up in prices. They used to be, like, 60 cents. Now, we're talking, like, 10 years ago. Like, 60 or 70 cents a taco. So, like, yeah, it was super cheap. Burger King is only good for chicken fries and their Hershey pie. I like the chicken fries. Chicken fries are good. I don't mind their burgers. Like, none of them are very good. Because you're paying, like, well, realistically, you're overpaying, but if you get, like, a $1 menu burger, you're paying $1, well, $1 in tax, and you're getting what you pay for. I was getting you in a twist for, like, 2 turns, then you regain the power. Yeah, it was getting close there. Like, that dive with the Crushmore, like, that turn, you had an advantage there. Like, I thought you were taking it. I was not screwing around when I was saying that. I do like the Burger King chicken nuggets more than McDonald's, because the McDonald's chicken nuggets are awful. But the chicken tender stuff at McDonald's is fine. Evo 3.0 is too good, and I want it. I don't know that Evo 3.0 is too good, but it opens up an enormous amount of gameplay options. Like, it just presents a different threat to your opponent, because it's a Evo, so it has 1 billion health. It's also an AoE, so it exerts soft power on your opponent's positioning. They can't bunch up or they're going to get punished. So you're able to just bully people with it. The damage output can be lacking sometimes, but it is a lob, it's ranged, it has, you know, you can do the fire for dimensionals. It's still really good. It's still really good. I've never had a Wendy's where the bun wasn't weirdly dry. They have good stuff outside of that, but it's like they store their buns on a radiator. I mean, all of this stuff regionally, because I've been to, in, like, multiple states in my area, we'll say, and across the country. And you go into, yes, you have a rough idea if you go into a McDonald's what you're getting, but there are absolutely regional differences even with fast food. When you talk restaurants, you know, like if you go to the South and try to go to an Italian restaurant, you're going to get like Chef Boyardee out of the can. You come up to the Northeast, you're going to get good fucking Italian food. But even fast food places, there are going to be regional differences where, yes, it basically a Big Mac is a Big Mac is a Big Mac, but at the same time, like you said, where and how they're storing the ingredients, stuff like that, there are going to be other factors. Have you ever been to the Rock and Roll McDonald's? Is there literally a McDonald's that's rock and roll based, or are you saying this is a different fast food joint? Because there's a bunch of them like that. Like, there's ones around here, I think they're around here, I forget where. A friend of mine was telling me that there's ones that are, like, basically themed on the 50s. Like, and everything's just straight up ripped out of the 50s. It's weird. One more upgrade card? Yep. There's a Wendy's commercial where Wendy's says McDonald's fries sucks and theirs are better. I think that's been running lately. Honestly, McDonald's fries, I do like them. I think they are, when they're good, they're among the better ones, but they are absolutely hit and miss. It absolutely depends on the specific McDonald's and the specific, like, where the time of day you're hitting it, you know, that sort of thing. I try not to eat fast food anymore. It's absolutely, like, today I got it because it was, okay, I had to get something in the morning because I needed to eat at the time, and I couldn't wait until I got all the way home, sort of thing. It's a specific McDonald's in Chicago. It's like a weird car theme outside and toy museum upstairs. Interesting. It must have been like one of the first McDonald's or something. Vitalogy later on stream is a good time. I just don't like, dude, if you have something in mind. Well, I'm going to be closing up shop soon, Crayos, for tonight anyway. Yeah, we have Panda Express out here too. I love Chipotle. I like Chipotle. That's very hit or miss too. It's very hit or miss. Obviously, they have a number of issues with the quality of the ingredients because they had, like, that massive salmonella outbreak. It was bad. They have good cookies. Oh, no. Who posted the link? Tona, you know better. Come on. What did you try and post a link to? It's no longer at that location? Like, they moved it? Like, they just forklifted the whole thing? Or did they rebuild the equivalent somewhere else? Rock and Roll McDonald's. Formerly the original Rock and Roll McDonald's is a flagship McDonald's restaurant formerly located in Chicago. It's one of the most famous McDonald's locations in the world and was once the busiest in the United States. Both the 1983 and 2005 structures on the site, located in the River North neighborhood of Chicago, a few city blocks west of the Magnificent Mile, had been tourist attractions since the opening in 1983. 2018 redesign has no rock and roll theme, but is still the flagship McDonald's location in Chicago. 2018 design won the Design Excellence Award of Merit from the Chicago chapter of the American Institute of Architects in 2019. So it sounds like they just got rid of it. The rock and roll part, which is interesting. Seems weird. Seems weird to just rip it out. Remember when Chipotle had the lime-flavored steak when I first slapped and that again, it sucked? Their ingredients are all over the place, Taco. Like, it's not... Chocolate wafers? Like, are you talking like chocolate pizzelle? I don't know what that is, Scrungle. It was pretty cool, though. I kind of hate that I won't get to see the Rock and Roll McDonald's next time in Chicago. It's weird that they would ditch something like that, you know what I mean? It seems weird, but I guess they decided that it wasn't worth the maintenance, so it was just, you're in a major city, people are going to go to McDonald's anyway, who cares? That was always the power play, eat at Portillo's, then go across the street and tour McDonald's. Interesting. I wonder if that's part of the problem, is more people toured it than ate there. Kit Kats or chocolate wafers? Ah, okay, I see what you're saying. Or are you... I mean, I guess they kind of are. I don't know if you're saying that on behalf of Scrungle, or if you're offering that as, like, that's another name for them. I don't think I've ever heard Kit Kats referred to as chocolate wafers before. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 11 game reviews done this week, chat. 11. Pretty good haul overall. The list is relatively short for now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 in here. All right, that's not bad. I'm sure it'll grow by next week. Cake shakes? That sounds like diabetes. That sounds like diabetes. Let me know if you're watching this on YouTube. Come by the live stream, RTChompGG over on Twitch. Like, subscribes, links in the description, Discord. You got the whole story. You've been hearing it a million times by now. But we're having a lot of fun on the live stream. But that's going to be enough fun for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.